Hey guys, back in the shed again with the race mower update. Well, not really an update. We're just gonna do some stuff. Okay, so we've got everything cleaned up, got everything stripped down. Obviously, we're about to put this plate back in. This is what a lawnmower looks like, or this is what a Murray looks like with no front end. It actually kind of looks like it's got a proper chassis underneath it, which I'm pretty sure it does. I'm just a bit tired today. So, we've decided that we're going to stick with the original axle and stubs. But apparently, according to some of the forums and the rules, you've got to, you've actually got to, you've actually got to have them solid. Not solid, you can't have suspension. So, and apparently when they pivot, they will lift the inside wheel, or whichever wheel's turning, and it gets pretty sketchy. So, what we're going to do is we're going to use the original axle, although I did want to use... Yeah, we're going to use the original axle. We're going to put it in there. We're going to put it in spot. I'm going to put some flat plate between the top of the axle and wherever it welds up to. I can't remember. My brackets are over here somewhere. I'm going to give it like a little bit of clearance, just a small amount of clearance, so there's a little bit of give in the axle. I don't know, I just don't like the idea of a solid frame, only because cracks and stuff are going to appear elsewhere. So if we can minimise it, then that'd be okay, and that way we can just knock the plates out when time comes, which will probably never ever happen, but you know what I mean. So for the most part, the solid axle is going to get put aside just for now. I might even try and modify it so I can like grease it. But we'll see how we go. That won't be for a long time. But anyway, I'm gonna put the front end of this lawnmower back together. Alright, so we need to... The guys reckon I should weld the axle solid in this. I don't really like the idea of having completely solid setup. What I was thinking was I just extracted this valve spring from this little head I've got over here, and what I was thinking about doing is we cut a bit off and we just weld it in there, in the gap there, and that'll eliminate, you know, the amount the axle can move. Hey, what do you reckon? I reckon that'll work a treat. Whether or not it'll be allowed, I don't know. Hopefully. I mean, it's not really suspension, it's just dampening the... it's a bit controversial, I suppose. But I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I can take it out and we'll have to take her out and say that she's, yeah. So I mean, I did question, because a guy had homemade spindles. I'm like, I wonder if you can take the spindles out and put suspension in them. Like a valve spring in there to sort of dampen it a bit, and they said no, that counts as suspension. But if I just run that axle as it is, factory, apparently when you corner with them, they're really renowned for lifting up in one side and sort of three-wheeling around the track, if you will. So... I mean, I reckon this spring idea is going to work. I reckon this spring idea will work just fine, and I'm just worried about nothing. But, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to... Something like that, really. Obviously, there's a small amount of give there in the axle, but let's see if we can stretch the rules just enough to accommodate for these. We'll give it a go. Eh? What do you reckon? So what we're going to do is, there's a 15mm gap from there, from the top of this plate to the bottom of this axle. Where's my little ruler gone? Up here. If I show you that, you can see just on 15mm on each side, give or take. What's the bottom like? I haven't checked the bottom for size yet. Alright, so we've got a little bit more room on the bottom, coming in at 18mm. each side. So we'll put the springs on the bottom, and hope for the best. So we're going to cut this. If that's 18 mil, we cut it to 15, so there's a little gap there. So each end of this spring, we're going to cut 15 mil into it. It's 40 mil long. 2 15s is 30. Yeah, 2 15s is 30, so we can pretty much just cut, well, let me just think. I'll figure it out in a sec. The camera's about to die. Alright, so we've got our mark. It's about 3 coils in. There's a little bit of pressure there. And then what we're going to do is with the grinder, if you're wondering how, we're going to cut it like this. Just as flat of an angle as we can get. There's 90, yeah, pretty much 90 degrees to the spring. So that way we cut a nice line through this, hopefully, and it gives it a little bit of a flat surface to sit on. Alright, I'm just going to try and set this up here, maybe somehow. There you go. Oh, that's hot! We might just do that one. Beautiful. Look at that. Now it measures exactly 15 millimeters. A little bit high. A little bit closer to like 20. But that doesn't matter. There we go. We've got 2 of our pivot reducers. I'm going to call these pivot reducers, which are just Mazda exhaust valve springs. Ah! Why would you do that? And what you do is they sit there and there. How's that one? I don't think that's suspension, because technically this still is pivot mounted. All that's doing, they're just stopping the axle from moving. So just say all I had was these valve springs to stop this axle from moving. That's going to work a treat, actually. All it's going to do is just tack them in, pop the axle in, and she'll be hunky-dory, boys. Hunky-dory. I'm pretty proud of that. That looks really, really good. That's just some professional looking work. Sweet! The springs are welded in place. If I move this axle out of the way, you can see there's 2 little bits of what's left of a valve spring in there. And they limit the movement by a fair bit, but gives us a bit of dampening so we don't stress the rest of the frame out. But I was about to slap the axle in it now and see what she looks like. She's all together, everything's in there as you can see. We don't have a great deal of movement in here. Very, very little movement, just the way I want it. Absolutely lovely. Now we're just gonna plonk the donk on, and then I'm going to strip it down. We're going to leave the exhaust for now, if it's going to fit with the exhaust on it. I don't think it will. We'll find out. I'm going to pull the air filter housing off it, pull the cowlings off it, probably get a rebuild kit for the carby, give it a good clean. Yeah, just give the engine a bit of a service, bit of a tune-up, and she'll be all Spondulix. Hi guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see ya in the first one.